What goes around comes around, as they say. The United States has long held the belief that it possesses the unique ability to impose sanctions on any nation at will. However, this perception is being challenged as China emerges as a formidable force capable of imposing significant sanctions of its own. Given China's status as the world's manufacturing hub, its sanctions carry substantial weight, especially since many global manufacturers depend heavily on the Chinese market for their success. Interestingly, the U.S., a military-industrial complex, may not fully grasp the significance of this shift. Largely self-reliant, they neither rely on Chinese markets nor seek patronage from China. Stay with us until the end of this video for a deeper understanding of these evolving global dynamics. Welcome back of another interesting episode of our channel, Inventive Insights. Makes you discover the unfolding narrative of China's inventive ventures and expanding impact across various global regions. If you're exploring our channel for the first time and have an interest in the dynamic, progression of China's evolution, and increasing clout, our content will surely captivate you. Please subscribe, like, and comment in this video. We delve into the reasons why the United States is hesitant to see this conflict conclude. We'll also shed light on the underlying motives of the U.S., Israel, in sustaining the war. Stay with us until the end of the video to uncover whether China has the capability to single-handedly bring an end to this conflict. Let's get to it. In a recent and significant escalation of tensions between China and the United States, the Chinese government announced the imposition of sanctions on major U.S. aerospace and defense companies, including Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. This move represents a direct response to the firm's involvement in arms sales to Taiwan, a contentious issue that has long been a point of friction in Sino-US relations. The announcement was made by a spokesperson from the Chinese Foreign Ministry during a regular press briefing. These sanctions are enacted under the framework of China's anti-foreign sanctions law, a piece of legislation instrumental in Beijing's recent efforts to counter foreign measures perceived as hostile or detrimental to its national interests. This law, passed in 2021, marks a significant step in China's legal and strategic approach to international relations, particularly in response to actions taken by foreign nations that Beijing views as interfering with its sovereign affairs. The spokesperson during her briefing emphasized the necessity for the United States to adhere to the One China principle, a diplomatic acknowledgement of China's position that Taiwan is an integral part of its territory. She cautioned that any continuation of military support or arms sales to Taiwan by the USA would trigger resolute and forceful retaliation from the Chinese side. This statement reflects the heightened sensitivity of the issue within the context of China's national sovereignty and territorial integrity. Specifically, the spokesperson identified Lockheed Martin's Missouri branch as the primary contractor in an arms deal with Taiwan executed on August 24. Furthermore, she noted that Northrop Grumman has been repeatedly involved in similar transactions. This focus on individual companies rather than broader diplomatic channels indicates a targeted approach by Beijing in addressing what it perceives as direct challenges to its national security and foreign policy objectives. The background to these sanctions is complex and deeply rooted in the history of cross-strait relations. Taiwan, which Beijing considers a breakaway province, has been a central issue in China's foreign policy. The Chinese government consistently asserts its right to use force if necessary to bring the island under its control. The United States, while officially adhering to the One China policy, has maintained unofficial relations with Taiwan, including arms sales and other forms of military support. This balancing act has been a source of ongoing tension in US-China relations. The timing of the sanctions coincides with a period of heightened military activity in the region. Recently, a Chinese naval formation led by the aircraft carrier Shandong was reported to have passed within close proximity to Taiwan, underscoring the strategic importance of the area. Additionally, there have been multiple instances of Chinese aircraft entering Taiwan's air defense identification zone. Further escalating tensions, these developments come in the wake of the U.S. State Department's announcement of a significant arms sale to Taiwan 3 weeks prior to the imposition of sanctions. The U.S. approved a $500 million sale of advanced sensor systems manufactured by Lockheed Martin for F-16 fighter jets, destined for Taipei. The sale, along with other military engagements between the U.S. and Taiwan, has been met with strong opposition from Beijing. In response to these arms deals, the Chinese Commerce Ministry had already placed Lockheed Martin, along with Raytheon Missiles, in defense on a blacklist, barring Chinese firms from conducting business with them. Furthermore, senior executives from these companies have been restricted from traveling, tilting, or working in China, illustrating the breadth and depth of Beijing's retaliatory measures are the Chinese Foreign Ministry's announcement of the sanction against Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin's unit reiterates Beijing's long-standing stance against any form of official interaction between countries it has diplomatic relations with in Taiwan. The ministry spokeswoman, Ma Nanning, emphasized that the U.S. actions are seen as a dangerous escalation in arming Taiwan despite China's firm opposition. In a broader context, these sanctions and the accompanying rhetoric from Beijing are reflective of the complex and multifaceted nature of US-China relations. On one hand, there is an ongoing engagement on various fronts, including trade and global security challenges. On the other, issues like Taiwan continue to present significant points of contention, with potential implications for regional stability and international diplomatic relations. The U.S. approach to Taiwan, particularly under the Biden administration, has been marked by a continuation of military support, as evidenced by the recent military aid package and arms sales. This stance, while consistent with past policies, has been met with increasing assertiveness from Beijing, as seen in the recent sanctions and military activities near Taiwan. Despite these tensions, USA President Joe Biden has expressed the belief that the current economic situation in mainland China might reduce the likelihood of aggressive moves towards Taiwan. In a statement made during a visit to Vietnam, Biden suggested that China's economic challenges could diminish its capacity for such a venture. However, Beijing has firmly stated that the resolution of the Taiwan issue is a matter for the Chinese themselves, underscoring its sovereignty. The U.S.-China dynamic over Taiwan is not just a bilateral issue, but also has significant implications for the wider international community. Host countries, including the U.S., officially adhere to the One China policy, but simultaneously express opposition to any forceful attempts to change the status of Taiwan. This delicate diplomatic balance is a reflection of the broader complexities and sensitivities that characterize international relations in the Asia-Pacific region. The recent U.S. military aid to Taiwan, amounting to $80 million, is particularly notable as it represents the first instance of such aid under a program generally reserved for sovereign independent states. This move, while symbolically significant, also underscores the unique and nuanced position Taiwan occupies in U.S. foreign policy. Additionally, there are reports of the U.S. government planning to redirect military financing originally intended for Egypt to Taiwan, further indicating the strategic importance attached to the island in U.S. regional security considerations. China's military exercises and drills near Taiwan have been interpreted as a severe warning to what it terms separatist forces on the island. This show of military might is a clear indication of Beijing's readiness to assert its claims over Taiwan and serves as a reminder of the potential for escalation in the region. Terror statements, emitting emphasize that US military activities in the Taiwan region and arms sales to Taiwan seriously violate the One China principle and severely harm China's sovereignty and security interests. The Chinese government's unwavering determination to defend its national sovereignty and territorial integrity was highlighted as a cornerstone of its policy. This stance reflects a deep-seated conviction within the Chinese leadership and is indicative of the lengths to which Beijing is prepared to go to safeguard what it perceives as its territorial rights. On the other hand, President Biden's comments about the economic slowdown and mainland China potentially affecting its capacity to consider an invasion of Taiwan adds another dimension to the strategic calculations in the region. This perspective suggests that domestic factors within China, such as economic conditions, could play a significant role in shaping its foreign policy decisions. In response to President Biden's comments, Beijing reiterated its position that the resolution of the Taiwan issue is a matter solely for the Chinese, without external interference. This response aligns with China's long-standing policy of non-interference in its domestic affairs by foreign powers, a principle it vigorously defends in various international forums. The recent developments in the Taiwan Strait and the corresponding actions by China and the U.S. are emblematic of the shifting power dynamics in the Asia-Pacific region. The imposition of sanctions on U.S. defense companies by China, the military activities around Taiwan, and the diplomatic rhetoric from both sides indicate a larger geopolitical contest extending beyond the immediate issue of Taiwan's status. For the international community, particularly countries in the Asia-Pacific region, these developments are a cause for concern. The prospect of heightened tensions or even conflict over Taiwan could have far-reaching implications for regional stability and the broader international order. Countries in the region and beyond are closely monitoring the situation, aware of the delicate balance that needs to be maintained to prevent escalation. The US and China, as two of the world's major powers, bear significant responsibility in managing their bilateral relationship, particularly on sensitive issues like Taiwan. The challenge lies in navigating the complex interplay of national interests, international law, and regional security dynamics. The actions taken by both countries in the coming months and years will be critical in shaping the future of the Taiwan Strait and, by extension, the broader Asia-Pacific region. As the situation continues to evolve, the international community will be watching closely to see how the US and China manage their differences over Taiwan and what this means for the future of regional and global stability. The balance of power in the Asia-Pacific, the principles of international relations, and the norms governing state behavior are all at play in this complex and dynamic issue. To fully grasp the Taiwan issue's complexity, it's essential to delve into its historical background, beginning with the Chinese Civil War and the subsequent separation of Taiwan from mainland China. This historical perspective provides crucial context for understanding the current tensions and the deep-rooted sentiments involved. China's claim to Taiwan is rooted in a historical perspective that views the island as an inseparable part of its territory. However, Taiwan's development of a distinct identity, democratic governance, and economic prowess over the decades has complicated the narrative, making the issue more than just a territorial dispute. The US involvement in Taiwan, stemming from its strategic interests in the Asia-Pacific region and its commitment to democracy and human rights, adds another layer of complexity. This involvement, while not officially recognizing Taiwan as a sovereign nation, significantly influences the geopolitical dynamics of the region. The economic implications of the tensions between China, the US, and Taiwan are profound. Trade relationships, supply chain dynamics, and global markets are all impacted by the fluctuating political climate. The tech industry, particularly semiconductor manufacturing, in which Taiwan plays a critical role, is a significant area of interest and concern. Other regional players, including Japan, South Korea, the ASEAN countries, and Australia also have vested interest in the stability of the Taiwan Strait, their economic ties. Security concerns and diplomatic strategies play a crucial part in shaping the regional response to the US-China-Taiwan dynamics. The Taiwan question is not just a regional issue, but a global security concern. The potential for conflict in the Taiwan Strait has implications for international peace and stability, making it a topic of interest for the United Nations and other global organizations. Looking forward, several scenarios could unfold, ranging from continued diplomatic tension and economic warfare to more severe military confrontations. Analyzing these scenarios involves understanding the strategic calculations of the US, China, and Taiwan, as well as the potential responses from the international community.